Question? My voice is breaking.
Okay. How about now? Can you hear me better now? My voice is breaking. Yes, I thought it was just my
Yes,
computer.
it's very good now.
Okay, good, good, good. Yes. Yeah, I was asking about Sister Melissa. Is that the same Sister Melissa I know from, from Princeton?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, good to see you, mashallah. Yeah, mashallah, good to see you. Alhamdulillah. Yeah. All right, so let's go for the class, inshallah, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, inshallah. So, as I was saying, because my voice was breaking, I'm just going to go quickly. Last time, like the last times, we talked about wudu and what is wudu and how to do the wudu. We talked about istinja, how to clean yourself after using the bathroom. We talked about even the full shower, the ghusl. We talked about, the salah and why is it important. We talked about the technicality of salah, like what is rak'ah and how to do the rak'ah, and and how to do the prayers and what to say in the prayer in Arabic. And then we talked a little bit about Ramadan. It was like 3 or 4 lectures. We only talked about Ramadan, what is halal, what is wrong, what is right, what breaks if someone cannot pray, if someone has the period, things like that. And last time we talked about the masjid and how to what is the masjid. Today we're going to be continuing about Salatul Jama'ah, which is the group prayers and the etiquettes of the group prayers. Anyone has any question from last time, like last time lectures? If you have something that you have a question about, let me know. Even if you don't want to do it like in public, you can also ask me in private, inshallah. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start. Inshallah, it's going to be a short, nice video move, lecture. I can't even talk today. Yeah. So let's go ahead. Um, the Prophet ﷺ talked about, if someone is going to the masjid to go and pray in Jama'ah. Jama'ah means, like the group prayers. And you have the intentions to go and unite with the other fellow Muslims, like brothers and sisters. The Prophet ﷺ said, if anyone, whoever is heading for Salah, going to the masjid, he or she is in the Salah mood. It's like you're spiritually ready and you have your intention to be with the Salah. And if you, God forbids, died or something happened to you, then it will be accounted as you have prayed the Salah with the Jama'ah. Subhanallah, right? And also the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever purify himself in his house. So it is very recommended that a person, before they come to the masjid, that they go and make wudu before they go to the masjid. Now, if you make the wudu in the masjid, there's nothing wrong with that. But the Prophet ﷺ, he said, whoever purifies himself in his house, then walks to one of the houses of Allah in order to perform one of the duties enjoined by Allah, which is the salah. For every 2 steps he takes, one will erase a sin and one other will raise 1 degree in paradise. Subhanallah. So you're doing a step. That's why as I said last time, some people, they like to park a little bit further from the front so they can walk more. If you go to the Jama'ah and you see the cars are packed in the parking lot, and you have to park a little bit further or even outside the masjid. So you end up, subhanallah, walking a long walk. Like even the scholars, they say if you live far away from the masjid and you drive to the masjid, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you also a reward for it. Subhanallah. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, if a man prayed while taking his shoes off, let him not harm anyone with it. Like in other words, when a person takes their shoes off, long time ago, they didn't have like a little rack, nice rack that they put it outside and they put their shoes in it. No, usually they either put the shoes outside or because the shoes can be stolen, people would take their shoes with them and they put it between their legs, between their feet, sorry, between their feet. So if a man prayed while taking his shoes off, let him not harm anyone with it. Let him put the shoes between his feet. And you see that in the Eid prayer, because the Eid prayer, we have so many people come to the Eid prayer. And so you know, in the mega masjids, like in the big masajid, they give you like a sack or a bag while you're coming inside the masjid, so you can put your shoes in them. And then you can do that, and then you can put them right between your feet. But now, because we have them a big masajid, fancy masajid, we have enough space. It's very spacious. We have enough space, so they put the shoes outside. Now, here's another question: can a person actually pray in their while they're having their shoes on? Yes, they can. There is no hadith tell you that you're not allowed to do that. So basically, a person can pray with their shoes on. Like, for example, if a woman that she wears like stocking and she has to wear like some kind of medical shoes, you can do that. Some people, when they're outside at the grass, you know, in a picnic or in the market and they want to pray, you can actually pray with your shoes. Nobody can tell you not to pray with your shoes. As long as the shoes are dry and it doesn't have any kind of like urination or some kind of unclean stuff. Okay, so that's the most important thing, is when you do your when you go and do your shoes. And that's why people just, they want to prevent, you know, to have any kind of unclean things on your shoes, because people go and walk outside. You know, we have, like in the West, we have the dogs. You know, people take their dogs out for a walk, and sometimes the dogs can make a mess on the ground or on the floor. And so people just, you know, take their shoes off just to prevent having any unclean thing on their clothes or on their shoes. Because one of the conditions of a person to pray is to wear nice, clean clothes, and it has to be pure. We talked about that in the prayer a long time ago. Now, what to do when you get into the masjid? First of all, you have to go on, not you have to, but it's a sunnah. The way of the Prophet ﷺ is to walk with your right foot. Like when you enter, you enter with your right foot. And when you leave with your left foot. It's totally the opposite of the bathroom. The bathroom, you enter with your left foot and you go out with your right foot. So the masjid, you go with your right foot and you leave with your left foot. The same thing also when you enter your house. When you enter your house or you enter the market or any place, you know, it's always to start with the right side. So we start with the right and then we leave with the left, and so on. Okay, inshallah. So when you go inside the masjid, there is a dua you can say, and you don't have to say it in Arabic as long as you know it in English. All right, and even if you don't know it in English, but you know the meaning of it, it's fine too. That's no big deal. The Prophet ﷺ taught us this dua. He said, Allahumma ftah li abwaba rahmatik. Oh Allah, open for me the doors of your mercy. Open for me the doors of your mercy. Okay, when you go inside the masjid, there are different etiquettes that we can use, and they say adab in Arabic. Adab means etiquettes. The first thing is we do wudu before we go inside the masjid. So you either make wudu when you go in the masjid, and usually, of course, the place of wudu is not where the people pray, it's in the bathroom, right? So you go and make wudu, and you have, it's one of the etiquettes to go while you're having your wudu on. Okay, so what if it's not a Muslim and wants to go to the masjid? Can they do that? Yes, they can. Yes, they can. So if anyone is not a Muslim and they want to go and see what other people doing, how they pray, you know, all these things, they can come without a wudu. But it is an etiquette, you know, it is like, it's respectful to the place that they have wudu on, right? When Umar ibn Khattab, before he became Muslim, he's one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, and he's one of the greatest companions, the second Khalifa. Before he became Muslim, his sister, he heard his sister, she was reciting Quran. And he got so angry because he heard from his friend telling him, did you hear about your sister and her husband? They became Muslim. So he came running to her house, you know, seeing what's going on. And he was a tough man. He was like a hot-tempered man. So he came and he knocked on the door and he came in and he said, what are you reciting? I want to see it. So she was quiet, you know, she was scared of her brother. And he said, I want to see it. I want to hold it in my hand. I want to read it. And she told him, no, you go and take a shower first and then you come back. SubhanAllah, his sister, she knows him very well and she's very strong like his brother, her brother. SubhanAllah. She told him, you go and take a shower and then come back. So why? Because it's the etiquette. It is the adab to make a shower or wudu before touching the Quran or before reciting or before even like going to the masjid, so on. Okay, so entering with your right foot, and don't be speaking loudly in the masjid. There are some people that they are sitting there doing qunut, means like the dua of calmness and tranquility. Some people are just sitting there and reciting Quran quietly. Some people are praying. They don't need all that distraction. So when a person come, and even when you see other people and you want to say salam alaikum and everything, you see her at the end of the hallway and you're like, assalamu alaikum, sister. No, we're in a masjid. It's supposed to be a quiet, tranquil place, peaceful place. So you can come to her, shake her hand, say salam alaikum with a smile, and if you want to hug her and so on, right? The other thing is, what if you come and there are people praying, or like at Taraweeh time, let's say now we're coming to Taraweeh time and we see, and sometimes we come late because we'll be like cleaning up after the iftar and so on. And you come to the Taraweeh and the place is packed. All the lines are packed. But you see there's a spot in the front, like it's a little bit where I can't stand over there. Can you actually pass these lines? According to Islam, if they are already in the mood of the salah, yes, you can, but without making any noise or making any mess. So you can actually pass in front of the sisters only in that situation, okay? Because technically, we're not supposed to have any gaps between the lines. And if there is a gap in the front, the one in the back and it's already full, but there's one gap, the one behind them, they're supposed, one of them people, they have to come to the front and fill the gap. And then the other sister, they have to come closer to each other to fill the gaps. And also the brothers the same way, okay? And then the one behind them, they come fill all the gaps and so on. So they were supposed to have some space in the back. But let's say we didn't have any place in the back, then the best thing to do is you can walk and find a place in the front, or try to find a place, or even like, let's say that we're going to talk about this later on, that if you have a line that it is full and you're the only one come in the back, what to do. We're going to talk about that later on, inshallah. Yes. Okay, don't leave any wrappers or any like dirt or any like water bottles, because a lot of people, they take their water bottles with them and they just leave it in the masjid. And I've seen this a lot. And this is a waste for the environment and waste of the trash. So people should have their water bottle with them. And it's better to use your own water bottle, like a thermos, or what do you call those personal like containers that you can use to put your water or your liquid in it, or your tea or anything like that, and that saves the environment. At the same time, you know that you're not gonna leave it there. But water bottles like this, and we know that we're gonna throw it in the trash, it's better just not to leave it there and keep it with you, inshallah, in your purse or in your pocket, if those are small ones, and so on, inshallah. Okay, now when we leave with our left foot, right? And when we are inside the masjid, it's always leave your phone off. And it's really annoying when people are praying and it is the Jama'ah prayer and the phone start ringing. And sometimes it keeps ringing for the whole time of the prayer. It is really a distraction. So what do? If your phone is in your pocket, and that's for the men, they can just click on it and turn it off. If it's in your purse right in front of you, it's okay to bend down, grab that phone and turn it off. It's okay to do that. Many people think, oh, we're not supposed to be moving. Yes, technically you're not supposed to be moving. But if that's going to be distract you and distract the other people, then it's okay to bend down, turn it off, and and put it down. Same thing with your child. If you have a child that is always screaming, yelling, or crying, they want food, or they want to change the diapers or anything like that, it's okay to pick him up or pick her up and put it right, and try to calm them down. Okay, don't just leave them crying and everybody's just like, feeling pity for that baby and say, poor baby, he's crying, and you're just like enjoying your prayer while other people are so distracted. Because some people, like me, I'm going to tell you, like, honestly, I don't have any kids, so I'm not used to the screaming and to a lot of noise and everything. Some women, mashallah, they have kids and they're used to have noise in the background, and that does not really distract them, or it doesn't really take them away from their focus or concentrate. But for other people, like the seniors, for example, who is not used to kids and so on, it's hard for them to focus. So it's better when you have kids is to have, to contain your kid, to keep them with you. And it's okay if they cry and everything. I mean, I don't expect like kids to be perfect, right? It's okay to cry and everything, but try to control them in the masjid. Don't make them like, I've seen some also kids that they be walking and running, like especially the little kids, they would be running from the first of the line all the way to the end of the line, and then come back to the end of the other line, and so on. And they make it like it's fun for them. They're like racing each other, right? But when it is time for the prayer, it's better to keep them calm. Like if you see your kid is running, grab him with his hand. And I've seen a mother did that. Like he was just the first time she saw him running. When he came back, she grabbed him from his arm, and she put him right next to him to be quiet. It's okay to do that. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that, oh, don't bring your kids or anything like that, because no, kids in the masjid is very important. Is very important. The kids need to be in an Islamic environment. They need to be, I mean, subhanallah, we live in the West, right? And in the West, many of them, they go to public schools, and the only place where those little kids, they can connect and they can interact with Muslims is in the masjid. So it's very important to bring them. I'm not saying don't bring them. No, bring them. It's okay. And if there are some good activities for them, please get them involved in these activities in the masjid. But also teach the kids how to have these etiquettes in the masjid. Keep teaching them. Keep repeating these things for them. Okay? Sit with them in the masjid. Let them read Quran with you. Give them some coloring books, like Islamic coloring books. Let them color in the masjid while we're having the prayer or something. Give them some activities. I see someone actually doing texting, and you can actually interrupt me if you want to. Sister Melissa, she said, um, she said, haha, that's why I just type rather than unmute in this lecture. My kids are, you're you're very sweet, sister. Jazakallah khair. No, it's okay, my dear. Anyone has any comments about this? Maybe you have even more experience than me as a mother, having your kids in the masjid. You can talk about this, and that will benefit other sisters who have kids also, that they bring them to the masjid, inshallah. Jazakallah khair. You're very sweet. Okay, so the next one. Now, the etiquette also of the masjid is when we have the brothers and sisters. Okay, in many masajid, in the big masajid, and we're used to that, especially in the West, that the sisters are in a separate room than the men. Okay, so the men are in a separate room. But what if we are in a open space, or in a small masjid like a musalla? We talked about what musalla means, right, last time. Okay, in a small musalla, what do we do? So here is the thing. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that the men should be standing in the front and the women are in the back. And if they have any kids, the kids they come in the middle. So the kids between the men and the women. Now, can you tell me why the Prophet ﷺ did that? Why he made the women in the back? Now, some other people who have that feminism, movement and things like, they say, that's not fair. The women should be standing right next to the men, and they even have to be imams. Can you tell me why? Anybody can answer for this one? Inshallah. Anyone? No? Okay. So,
I heard one
please.
time.
Yes, go ahead, my dear.
I have a guess because I don't know really. This is the first time I hear somebody talk about it, but I asked one time when I first reverted. And someone told me that it was because like men are easily distracted by women.
That's true. I mean, honestly, if you see the women, and yeah, that's right. Very good. Anybody else has any answer? Sister Zini, go
Hello,
ahead. Yes, my
Assalamu
dear.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum
Assalamu
assalam.
alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm Zini from Azerbaijan.
Nice meeting
So
you.
I want, thank you very much. I want to mention that there's no any Sahih hadith about the women who can lead the prayer, who can be imam. Women should follow the male, especially in the masjids, but what about in their home? Yes, they should follow their sons, other sons, or their husband or brothers, I don't know, their fathers, but they can't lead the salat because there's no any evidence. We and my friends, women, we discussed about this issue. There's no any evidence. If you have any Sahih hadith, please provide me. I would share it with my sisters in Azerbaijan. But really, I don't have any authentic hadith about it.
Very
So we
good.
should follow my.
I love that you're actually following the hadith and the sunnah. Now, for the reverts, they don't know the importance of following the athar, which is athar means like the dalil, the proofs.
Yeah.
So they want everything to make sense for them more than what the scriptures say. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying, of course, about all the reverts. There are so many, mashallah, educated reverts that I see that they actually follow that. But there are some people, and even for our Muslim kids, I mean, it has to make sense for them. When you tell them about the Quran and the Hadith, some of them they tell you, but that doesn't make any sense. You know, so they need to see something that it makes sense. But yeah, you're right, mashallah. We don't have any Hadith, and all the Hadiths and all the Quranic ayat talking about men leading the prayer. There's nothing, not even one Hadith saying that a woman led a prayer. Not even one, except one hadith where it talks about that Aisha with the women. It was a group of women that she led the prayer for them, but only women, like women with women, not only no men in the scene. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
MashaAllah. Very good.
We should follow Quran and
And
Hadith.
the
You know,
Sunnah,
in
Sahih.
Ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla said that "Atiullah wa atiur Rasul." So we should
أطيعوا الله
follow
وأطيعوا
them.
الرسول.
Yeah,
MashaAllah.
thank you.
Jazakallah khair, Sister Zini. MashaAllah. Yes, we have to follow the book of Allah and the Sunnah. And I have another lecture that I will be talking about later on, inshallah, about the importance of the Sunnah and the importance of following Allah's commands and the Sunnah. This is a lecture by itself, by the way, inshallah. Anybody else would like to answer why the men pray in the front and the women in the back? Why don't the men and women pray next to each other? Yes, Sister Bridget. Yes.
Hi. Yeah, I'm pretty new, but I'm assuming because the way that you're praying is in a vulnerable position, so it prevents distractions. But so just to be clear, I also know that, you know, males take on a more leadership role. But also, so just to be clear, so women can be imams for a group of women, but not a combined men and women, right? Or just men only. Is that correct? Or is they can't be imams, period?
Well, here's the thing: is there's no also a hadith saying that a woman cannot be an imam, and we're gonna discuss that right now in the last 20 minutes I have of this lecture, inshallah. Very good. Yes. Anybody else would like to answer? Very good. We're going to discuss it right now. I'm going to talk about it in a more like detailed way, inshallah. Anyone else would like to say something? Inshallah. Okay, so all what you said is correct. Everything that you said, mashallah, is correct. So the first thing, what you said is the men take more leadership than the women when it comes to imama. Imama means leadership, to be the ones that they are responsible. So if they made a mistake and the Jama'ah are following this Imam and he made a mistake, guess what? The Jama'ah will not be held accountable for that mistake. The Imam will. Okay? If he said something and let's say he said a fatwa. Fatwa means like a ruling in Islam, halal and haram. And he said this is halal, but it's supposed to be haram. Okay? And the Jama'ah followed that Imam because they trusted him. They thought that he is following Allah's and his messenger. Okay? So who's going to be responsible for that is the imam, more than the Jama'ah themselves. All right. The Jama'ah means like the group of people, right? And so when the imam does, yes, Sister Melissa, that's right. She said, is it because the women, the Sister Bridget, you actually wrote it down, mashallah. Yes. The other thing, so the imam is, now can a woman can be an imam? Yes, she can, but not with women, or not with men. Okay. And if there is a group of men, and even if she knows the Quran and the Hadith more than them, the man still have to be the one imam. And that's because we go to the next one that makes sense, like Sister Bridget say, the position that when we pray, it is vulnerable. And men, subhanAllah, even if they are the most spiritual men in the world, Allah designed them. Allah, this is the design, Allah's design, the creation of Allah, to make men to be affected, influenced by sight. Women be influenced by hearing inside, what do you call it, the instinct inside them. So women don't really care about the appearance of the man if she's actually looking for a husband or something like that. The appearance of the man is not that important for her as his personality and his akhlaq and his manners and morals. Men don't really care about that. I mean, they do, but it for them is like she has first to be appealing for him. She has to look good for him. And subhanallah, one person, I mean, I'm sorry that I'm going to say that in public. May Allah forgive me. But even Allah, when he created the private parts of the man and the woman, you see the private part of the man is external and the private part of the woman is internal. Subhanallah. And I'm like, you know what? That makes sense. And, that's why when women, we feel things inside, and we can express our feelings better than men because we're more like intuit, while men don't know how to express their feelings. So when they get angry, you see them scream right away, or they get angry, or they overreact, or something like this. It's different. Subhanallah. So they get influenced more. So just imagine when a sister is sitting there and she does a sujood while her butt is sticking up like this. I mean, just the imagination of the men. And by the way, you can ask your husband about this. That men always think about women and about these things, about the women. I don't want to be talking about it in public, but you understand what I'm talking about. Women, we don't care about that. And so that's why we don't mix between men and women, because of that issue. Because subhanallah, even as us, and I know that a lot of reverts, that they have male friends, like revert sisters, they have male friends, or male friends, they have revert, they have revert friends, males, that they have female friends. They're not supposed to be doing that. Why? Because subhanallah, as us as women, we look at the man as, oh, he's my friend, he's like my brother. Men don't look at it this way, and they don't think about it this way, even if they tell you that. Maybe like 90%, maybe that they're like honest and they're right, but there is that 10% that they would be thinking about that woman and how she's talking to him and how she's laughing and she's appealing to him, and that he feels really good about her. And if he had the opportunity, subhanallah, like, unless if he completely fears Allah, that's something different. If he had the opportunity to approach that woman, and have some kind of relationship with her, he wouldn't say no. It's not like the woman. We women are different. Wallahi, I'm telling you the truth. And by the way, there is a study about this. Even non-Muslims say about these things. And those studies are psychological, non-Muslim studies. It's not me that I'm telling you this. Subhanallah. So when a woman being in the back, that prevent the man of that, thoughts. And at the same thing, you as a woman will feel more comfortable, more confident by doing the salah without anyone staring at you. I mean, that's the whole purpose for us wearing the hijab, right? Is to protect ourselves and not to make men look at our figures and our, how we look and how we appear. We want this man or the community or those people to look at our brain, our personality, to know us about who we are, not how we look. You see what I'm saying? Subhanallah. And I know that a lot of sisters, they love to dress up just to look good about themselves, for themselves and everything. But also in the back of our head, we always think about what other people think of us too, or how they look at us. So it's better just to keep that separation between men and women. So the men in the front, women in the back. Now, if there is no place in the back, then try to make it on the side. Now, that's in the masjid in general. In the Hajj, men and women can actually be standing next to each other only in Hajj and Umrah. And the reason why is because if you were doing tawaf, let's say, okay, and suddenly they did the iqamah, means the time for the prayer, and usually the women would like cluster themselves and take themselves on the side and they will pray together. But let's say that you are all the way on the other side and you're too far from the women's side. You can actually stand there, but make some gap between you and the man right next to you, so he wouldn't actually touch you. All right. So that's the rulings, and it's better to be not mixing. The other thing is, if a woman became an imam, all right, and the woman in her menstruation, she cannot pray. So just imagine if she's the imam of that masjid and she has to, her menstruation came. She cannot pray. So they need another imam anyway, either a male or another female. Subhanallah, right? So it's not appropriate for a woman to do that. And also the whole community would know, oh, the woman is not here. I'm sure that she's having her period. And of course, like if 1 month passes and then the next month passes and they're the same days, they're not going to know. It's nobody's business to know when is your period. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just so funny. All right. The other thing is we can talk about is um Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. The responsibility of the man and the woman in the community. And I understand that as the West, like the men and the women are equal in everything, and they should have equal job opportunities, equal pay, equal everything, and even like equal duties. But when it comes to the family and when it comes to the community in Islam, they distinguish between the role of a man and a role of a woman. And we're not old school, and it's not a classic school. It is the way of life. Allah created us this way. The man go out, work externally with his labor hands and so on, and work hard outside to provide for the family, while the woman, which is actually the best job for her, is to sit at home and nourish her kids and taking care of the kids. So just imagine that she has a whole community to take care of, like let's say that she's the imam. She has a whole community to take care of with doing all the halal and haram stuff, of the fatwas and counsel families, because the imam's job is not only just to stand on the stage and speak and do a prayer. No, he's an imam, he's a leader. So anyone has a problem with his wife will come to him. Anyone has a divorce problems will come to him. Anyone wants to get married, he will come to him. Anyone wants to do a janaza, he will come to him. While the mother also, she has her children, which is actually more priority for her than only the man. The man, of course, his children and the mother, but also he has a duty in the communities to go out and provide. So it is better for the woman to step down from that imama and now can a woman be an imam in the masjid in a different role other than just standing on the pulpit and speak or pray? Yes, there are. She can teach in the masjid, teach the youth and the kids. She can do that. She can work in the administration, do all the management work. She can do that. She can do anything except standing on the pulpit and speaking in front of men. That's, in Jummah. She can also do seminars if she wants to. She can do some counseling sessions if she can do with families, and she meeting with the husband and the wife and try to reconcile with them. She can do all that. So she has all these roles, just like the man can do in the community, except one thing is just to stand and pray in front of other men. Does that make sense now? Inshallah. Any question about this? Any question about this? Inshallah. Okay. So if the lines was full and someone stayed behind single, okay, that's another thing. And that would be my end thing. Anyone has any question? All right, the last thing I would talk about is, let's say that the line, like, because we have Taraweeh, right? And we spoke about Taraweeh right before Ramadan. And what is Taraweeh all about? We have Taraweeh and the lines are like all full from the wall to the wall, all right? And the second one all full. And then there's this sister in the front, you know, God forbids, she broke her wudu, like she passed gas, or, you know, or she had to leave because for emergency or whatever, right? So, and she left a spot right in the middle of the salah. What do? Usually either the sisters come closer to each other and don't make any gaps, and we're not supposed to make any gaps, or a sister from the back that she steps to the front and she fills the gap. Okay, now when she does that, the line behind her now became, there is a gap. So they either come closer to each other and fill the gap, or the one behind, they will come and step in the front and they fill the gap. All right. Now, what if they were all full and somebody came late and they were just single by themselves? And it is not recommended for the person to be single in the masjid praying by themselves. They have to have somebody else, especially if it's a Jama'ah. So what they can do is, when they stand in the back and they settle themselves in the line, they can tap on the shoulder of the person right in front of them. So when they do that, the one in the front, if they know what does that mean, she should step back a little bit and she would stand next to her, while the other sisters right in front of her, they will fill the gap. They will come closer to each other and fill the gap. Okay. Now, what if it's too crowded and the lines are so sticking to each other? And that's okay, by the way. And this is how by the way, I don't understand, why do you always make that gap between the two shoulders? In the Jama'ah, we're supposed to be shoulder to shoulder and foot to foot. Women and men and women, because they think, oh, women are different, we're supposed to make some gap. No, men and women, they should be the same, shoulder to shoulder and foot to foot. You have to, you know, without actually pressing too much, because some people, like I've seen some ladies that they just press too much. Sometimes they step on each other's foot. No, don't do that. Foot to foot means like very close to each other. And shoulder to shoulder, you know, we stand like that so we can keep those lines connected. And that's actually, subhanAllah, unity in Islam. And if we want to go with the new age philosophy, that's how we keep the energy connected between each other. Okay, subhanAllah, the Prophet ﷺ, everything that he taught us, he taught it to us because it's beneficial for us. So this energy is flowing between each other with like positive and spirituality. We feel each other, subhanAllah, while we are praying. And if someone has a higher iman, higher status, they lift us up with that prayer, subhanAllah. And there's a hadith about that, when the Prophet ﷺ said, you know, that in the masjid there are people come to the prayers. Some of them are so good in their iman that they will be making dua as their blessings is going to all the crowd too. Subhanallah. That's a very beautiful hadith. I can get it for you, inshallah. So he said, if it's okay, now if it's too crowded, and let's say that also the lines are too close to each other, like here's the first line and the second line is right next to, and when you do sujood, there is no place to do where to put your head. Actually, according to Islam, you can actually put your head on the feet of the one right in front of you. It's fine. Or you can put even your head on the shoulder, on the back of the person in front of you. There was an African guy, subhanallah, people made fun of him in the Masjid al-Haram. It was in the time of Hajj. And in Hajj, it's very, very, very crowded. It used to be like, I don't know now, but it used to be very, very, very crowded, subhanallah. And there's this African guy that he stood in the line, but when it came to the time of the sujood, he could not find any place. So he literally made sujood and he put his forehead on the back, like right at the butt of the person right in front of him. And subhanallah, the camera was just like, focusing on that area, and they saw that, and it took that a picture of that or a video of that person, and it's on YouTube, and people started making fun of them. Subhanallah, although in the hadith saying, no, you can actually do that if there is no place at all. You can do that. You can put your, but of course, mashallah, our masajid are so spacious, and usually sisters make a gap, like they make a gap, although they're supposed to be courteous with the people behind them, to come a little closer so they can have more space in the back for the sisters who come later. Subhanallah. All right. Any questions so far? Inshallah. Any questions so far? Anyone has any question about also Salah, about anything, inshallah?
Sister, sorry, again, me, it is Zini. Today we've read the hadith about when in a masjid the farz prayers are done is sounded, and when you leave the masjid, it means that you are turned against the revelation of Abu Qasim.
You're right. Yeah, the Prophet ﷺ, actually, I mentioned that last time, that if someone heard the adhan, which is the caller of the prayer, and they left with no excuse,
yes.
then they have a little bit of hypocrisy in them. Hypocrite, nifaq, munafiq. You know what I mean?
Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh mentioned that in that hadith. Yes.
Yeah.
You are lucky one if you have masjid. To be honest, I can't go to any masjid because there's no any near masjid near my house or my district. And even if you're if you follow the Prophet ﷺ, they call you Wahhabi, they give you many names, and you can't attend in a masjid. So you're
So if
lucky
a
if you
person,
have.
yeah, I mean, first of all, the women are not required to go to a masjid, although it's recommended, but it's not a fard like men. It's not like a sunnah mu'akkada for like men. Sunnah mu'akkada means like, it's a confirmed sunnah, right? But women can stay at home, and we talked about that last time, is that
I know
women can have a little spot in their home, make it like a small masjid. I even like have very nice sisters that put like a very nice like a prayer rug in there, put like a lantern, or like they even like close it with a divider, so no one, it's like your private place, like your little closet where you can do your prayers, inshallah. And if you want to pray Jama'ah with people, you can bring your son, your daughter, and pray with her the Jama'ah and do the Taraweeh. You don't have to be in a masjid to do Taraweeh, by the way.
Years ago, during my university years, I always went to masjid. I went to masjid, and it was so beautiful. I learned Arabic, some level. I learned tajweed. Right now, I can't go, and I miss those days, really.
I'm sorry. May Allah make it easy. Where do you live, Sister Zeni?
I live in Baku, Azerbaijan.
Oh, you're now in the country, in the Azerbaijan?
Yes, I'm in Azerbaijan right now.
MashaAllah. No, MashaAllah. We have people from all over the world. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Yeah. May Allah bless you. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have any question or anything to say? Inshallah. All right, we make our final dua. If you have any question, please do ask. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to continue our learning and increase our knowledge. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us and increase our iman, our faith. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make things easy for us to come to the masjid, be with the jama'ah, unite ourselves with our fellow Muslims and sisters. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us in this Ramadan, continue this Ramadan, and accept our fasting, accept our prayers. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to always to protect our family, to protect our children, to guide our family as well who are not Muslims, and guide us to the true path, to the right path, to do the right decision, to do the halal things and stay away from the haram. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the Quran as the spring and the center of our heart. I say this and I ask Allah for forgiveness. If I say something right, then it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If I say something wrong, then it is from me and from shaitan. And I ask Allah for forgiveness. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. جزاكم الله خير. May Allah bless you, and I'll see you next time, inshallah. I love you all for the sake of Allah. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
عليكم السلام ورحمة